is the New York Sports Machine on WICR.
Na 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 na. Back to AB conversation, cause that's what we do. Young Rigger and the hero talking about the Eastern Conference. Go.
Nah, nah, nah.
I don't even know what that rendition was, but AB Conversation is back on the airwaves, Ustream.com, WICR, New York Sports Machine.
Well, we could
And check out the North Avenue Nation, because I own a College Master College Department, and that's what we do.
we could be a little bit like Joe and Evan on The Fan. I remember when they first started that show, or they first, not the show, the jingle they have. They used to sing it. So every morning I would listen to Joe and Evan on The Fan.
Oh.
WFAN.
I ain't trying to listen to all that.
Now they would sing it. Now they have a jingle where they have singers actually sing it.
It's pretty nice. We should get a choir.
So we should in turn sing AB Conversation.
Well,
Wait, you do.
We do have that, but
You do.
No licensing issues. But the Eastern Conference playoffs are in full
Licensing issues.
It's true. Are intact, with the Atlanta Hawks being the go-getter, the top seed in the conference this season. Doing it out of nowhere, you could say, coming out. And they will be facing off the Brooklyn. Wow, the Brooklyn Nets coming into this playoffs like, bro, really? What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in this party.
You don't even have a 500 record.
Get out of here.
Get out. I mean, this would be one for the books if Brooklyn was able to take this thing and go far, because the Hawks have been the best team this year in the East. This year, they've swept Brooklyn in their regular season matchups, beating the Nets all times by an average of 17 points in all 4 games.
Yeeks.
So, I mean, and I've said this from day one with Atlanta. You know, the reason why they win is because nobody's selfish. It's ball movement. It is great, stellar defense. They're averaging 114 points in those meetings with the Nets, along with 31 assists. So no one guy is stealing the show on Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think earlier in the year they got profiled by ESPN. It's because we got to figure out, we got to get into the mind of the Hawks and see why they're such a good team. Well, you know what? If you don't have a few if I shouldn't say that. If you don't have a couple MVP caliber players on your team, why not make everybody play the game?
And that's what happens when you get 4 all-stars on the team. That's unselfish play. Everybody's getting their own.
Exactly. And that's why I changed it from all-stars to MVP caliber. But they also stopped the Nets from scoring more than 100 points against them in those 4 matchups. So they're 7th in the league with defensive efficiency, with 100.7 points allowed per 100 possessions. I can't say that. 100 points
per possession.
Per 100 possessions.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I really don't say. Now, the Nets come into this game, and they come in on a wing and a prayer. They come in on a wing and a prayer. Can you say underdog again?
You could say underdog, but there's no dog to be under. It's broken. They're so inconsistent. Like, they're like, oh man, I was trying to do a tongue twister. It did not work. Moral of the story is, when you have Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, and Brook Lopez, that's supposed to be a formidable trio that you can rely on. That has not happened.
And the thing is they've tried to break up this trio.
Yes,
midway through the
all
season.
of them was on the trading block.
All
of them.
It's crazy, because I thought this was actually going to be. I didn't think any of those guys were still going to be, Brooklyn Nets. And obviously Lopez has played a big role down this stretch. The reason why the Nets are in the playoffs right now is because they were 13-6 over their last 19 games, and the fact that Brook Lopez has led the team with an average of 22.3 points and 9.5 rebounds over that 13-6 stretch.
Finally, you're getting rebounds.
That's why. And Johnson, he's going up against his former team.
ISO Joe.
And he is Brooklyn's second leading scorer. But, Ben, 14.4 points per game is not the stat you're looking at when you're looking at Joe Johnson. What you're looking at is exactly what you said. inconsistency.
So
Because
inconsistent.
he can't do that on a night-to-night basis. He can't drop 30 or, whatever. He can't even have a big scoring night, hit 20 on a nightly basis.
Mhm.
And he's not that type of player. I understand that. But still, I mean, it's the worst thing in sports is when you have a player who can't consistently contribute.
And this will be Darren Williams last. I think it's gonna be Darren Williams this is your last chance to prove yourself, dog. You're in the playoffs. You got all this money to come to Brooklyn. You did nothing for this city. Oh, you got him hyped for the franchise being in Brooklyn, but winning wise, you haven't. You're not the point guard you once was, and it's scary to say that because it was like him and CP3, and now Darren Williams is an afterthought.
Exactly. So, despite Johnson having 21 in the last regular season matchup against the Hawks, I'm going Hawks and just sweeping the set in 4.
Get the brooms out.
So, we'll move on past this. And what do you want to do? Cavs Celtics?
We will be talking about the Cavs and Celtics right now. Big kudos to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
This franchise was in tank mode.
Shout out Kelly Olynyk.
Shout out to Kelly Olynyk. But shout out to Brad Stevens, the second-year coach coming from Butler. This season, they traded their best 2 players. They traded Rajon Rondo and Jeff Green. Booked them out of there. As soon as those trades occurred, oh yeah, it's done for them. It's slow. Why they even thinking playoffs? They're thinking the 2016 season. No, this team is in the playoffs. So kudos to that organization.
And I think they're thinking a little bit like the Spurs are right now, because if you're looking at the Clippers in that set, which we went through for the Western Conference, the Clippers don't really have a deep bench, or at least the production hasn't been there. And if you look at this series, the Celtics against the Cavs, the Celtics reserves are scoring 41.4 points per game this season. And that doubles Cleveland's bench production of 24.2 points per game out of their reserves. So that's definitely going to be a strong point for the Celtics. Despite Cleveland's starting 5 obviously going to outshine the Celtics.
Of course.
Can the Celtics bench play get them to compete in this contest?
You're going to have J.R. Smith coming off the bench for Cleveland. And I think
And that's, I mean, it doesn't go much past that.
shout out to J.R. Smith. That's, NYK basketball. But the Celtics bench they're proving to score. They are the quintessential role players that you want for a team. They know what their job is. It's to sustain the offense, give the starters a break, and they've been doing that, plus been gaining the lead. So when the starters come back in, they can do what they do. Did
That's exactly
that
right.
answer your question?
Yeah, you did. You did. So Love has had 14.3 points and 9.7 rebounds in 3 games against Boston. So he has done what he's expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's LeBron James, man.
It is
It's
LeBron.
It's LeBron who is averaging almost 30 and over 51% shooting and over 6 assists in 3 meetings with the Celtics this year.
Now, this guy, LeBron James, if you haven't heard of him, best player in the world, I think his mentality this round. All right, guys, let's take a quick lap before we get into thing.
Yeah.
But this lap has to be productive. You got to go 75% when you jog.
Yeah. Well, the thing about LeBron this year is the special thing about LeBron this year is he has had an MVP type of season, and he's not going to win it, but he's going to be up there in the voting. And he did it while getting Kyrie incorporated and
Dealing with Kevin Love.
and having Kyrie basically have an excellent year. I mean, I can't tell you time and time again, I see LeBron make the extra pass to Kyrie. Boom, Kyrie's dropping 40. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just amazing how LeBron has been unselfish, yet put up numbers like he has. It's the perfect balance.
That's what you got to do when you're the best player in the world. You got to make other people better.
It's true. So as much as I'd like to see the underdog in this one win, I'm going to say Cavs, and I'll say the Celtics will win a game. So I'll say that it'll be Cavs 4, Celtics
1.
1.
So it's a 5-game series.
5-game set. Yeah.
Bring out the brooms.
That's what similar prediction?
Bring out the brooms.
All right, sweeping him, so he doesn't even give Boston a game. That's okay.
Sorry.
All right, we'll move on. What do we got next?
We have the 3-6 matchup, which is the Chicago Bulls
and
against the Milwaukee Bucks. What are they doing in the playoffs? The Bucks did do their thing this year. They improved drastically under Jason Kidd, first-year head coach, first-time GM, and this is Jason Kidd's second year in the playoffs in a row. Does that have to do with Jason Kidd's coaching, or what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? This is just something I envy and you envy, I'm sure, because you look at the state that the Knicks were in last year, and you look at the state they're in this year, and then you look at the state the Bucks were in last year, finishing as the worst team in the league, and then they're in the playoffs this year.
And they lost Jabari Parker.
And they lost Jabari Parker, who, by the way, has gotten me to buy the Gatorade Power Bars.
Yeah, man.
Post-workout.
That's that Jabari Parker power.
I'm popping those post-workout protein bars because of him. But anyway, the Bucks have they've been great this year. I mean, obviously, we could talk about their length and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And we could talk a little bit about their defense. They've been limiting opponents to just 97.4 points per game this season. That's fourth in the East. But Giannis is something to watch. So long. He's averaged 12.7 points per game while grabbing 6.7 boards. So he's been affecting the game very well this year. And, of course, can't forget MCW.
Michael, not Man Crush Wednesday. We're talking about Michael Carter Williams coming over from a trade from Philadelphia. This was the Rookie of the Year last year. So him and Giannis, both sophomores now, they're gonna get their feet wet in the series.
So they'll be going up against the Bucks, and they have more than 6 players averaging double digits.
The Bulls?
Yeah, the Bulls. What did I say? The Bucks?
The Bucks will be playing the Bucks in practice, but
we just talked about the Bucks. They'll be going up the Bulls. And obviously the happy thing for them this year is they have a partially healthy Derrick Rose.
The happiest, not even that. Shout out to Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
All-star starting power forward. Double-double machine leading the leagues. Who was expecting this? They said, yo, Pau Gasol, your time is done. You know, you're going to go out to Chicago just to say your goodbyes. But nah, Pau Gasol is taking this serious. This dude's a back-to-back champion. He knows what he's doing. Shout out to Pau Gasol.
You said it. 18.5, 11.8 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks per game. And against the Bucks in particular, he goes off. 24.3 points. 13.3 boards and 2.3 blocks per game. So this is his breeding ground here from Milwaukee. He does big things. I'm going to go Bulls, and I'm going to say Bulls. I'm going to give him another game. I'm going to say that the Bucks will win a game, but I'll say Bulls take the series.
Get the brooms.
Oh, 2 back-to-back sweeps for Ben.
3.
All right, so we got one more.
Yes.
One more game here in the East before we hit you with a little baseball before we close this one out.
Hey.
And that'll be the Wizards and the Raptors.
Ha ha. The Washington Wizards. This is the battle of the guards. You're going to have DeMar DeRozan going up against Bradley Beal. You're going to have, you can even say Otto Porter Jr. and Terrence Ross going to go at it. But the main thing is the feisty Kyle Lowry versus the swaggy John Wall.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, it is.
Well, here's the thing about Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry has been slumping now for basically since January.
Yeah, he has been injured, though.
He has been injured. So this will be his time to shine, if so to speak, because he's averaging 14 points on 40% shooting in his last 10. So that's not bad by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But we know Kyle, and we know he has the ability to go off for 20, 25.
Yes.
And hit some big shots last year against the Nets in the playoffs. So I always get up to watch Kyle Lowry when it comes to playoff time. But you said it. This is going to be a battle of the point guards.
And you could also say the battle of the 2 centers. Your mans have to step up because Marcin Gortat is no slouch.
No, Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, it's definitely going to be his time to step up here. You know, this is just such a tough matchup that I don't know who to get. You know, it's going to take a second for me.
Nah, I'm going to go with the Raptors. The bench is more of a problem factor than Washington. Shout out to Lou Will.
So you're going Raptors.
Lou Will. Yeah.
You think Chris Humphries will play a role
Oh
in this
yeah,
game?
nah. Chris Humphries, he does it. He does his due diligence on the court. He's not gonna get you 29 points, but he'll get you 9 points. He'll get your guy open for screens, and he's gonna grab boards.
So Paul Pierce has shot just 3 of 17 in the last 2
yeah.
games. But I think Pierce is going to pop up because, you know what, Ben? He's done it all his career. Come playoff time, whether it's been the Celtics, whether it's been the Nets, Paul Pierce has something to say when it is playoff time. So I'm going to say that the Wizards are going to win this game. And I'm going to say that it's going to have a lot to do with Paul Pierce clutch shooting.
Ooh.
And I think that I think he's the X factor in this one, believe it or not.
Paul Pierce is your X factor.
Even though he's an old man now, can't count the. I
You
can't
can
be
still give
ageist.
it to the vet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ageist sometimes in certain situations, but I'm gonna go with Toronto in 6 games, so that'll be a 4-2 win for Toronto.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the series goes 7, but I'm gonna say that the Wizards take it.
Okay, Anthony, you can say that, but you could also say what's gonna come up on our next segment.
I can. Little baseball, Yankees, Mets. We've been talking about it all year. Who the town belongs to. Now we can actually tell you right now who the town belongs to.
Well, he's gonna do most of the telling, but stay tuned to AB Conversation. We will be back.